So just some food for thought. Men are actually the prize, not women. And the reason this is because women benefit way more than a man does in a relationship. Men have to put in a lot more work to even be considered a candidate for a potential relationship. They have to become the man, whereas women are fortunate enough, they just are. Men are the ones that work hard so that they can take women out on a nice date. They pay for dinner, maybe they buy flowers or something like that. And then once the woman decides to join his team, he's the one that's expected to be able to provide, secure, and he's the one that does the majority of the heavy lifting. So just think about it. Yes, women can, miss, I don't need no man, but who do you take your cars to? And who do you call when, the plumbing is bad or something goes down? You still need men, just now you're paying for it in a different way. So men are the prize, and women, I think, need to really understand the value of men.
They're like, he opened the door for me, he paid for my food, he walked me to the door, I love him, he's such a gentleman. It's like, no! That's what he's supposed to do!
If that's what men are supposed to do on dates, what are the things that girls are supposed to do on dates? I'm genuinely asking because I've never heard anyone say this. Men are supposed to ask you out. They're supposed to plan the date. They are supposed to open your door. They're supposed to buy you flowers. For some people like that. Some people don't. They're supposed to pay. They're supposed to pull out your seat. They're supposed to open your car door. All those things. If those are the list of things that men are supposed to do to be considered a gentleman or chivalrous, what are the things that girls are supposed to do? She says that chivalry is dead and she hates how her girlfriends go on dates. Guys do those things and girls are like blown away by it. Now I agree. Guys should do those types of things. Also, chivalry's not dead. You just don't date chivalrous men, and that's your fault. But I've never thought, if those things are baseline for a guy, baseline, the bare minimum, as women like to say, what is it for a girl? You can't say wearing a nice outfit or looking pretty in any way, because over and over again in my comment section, I'm told that women do that for themselves.
And ladies, please stop telling us that we don't need a man while you laid up with yours. I love you, sister, but that's not fair. That's not fair. You've had a boyfriend every year and I'm boy crazy because I want a man. You're laid next to your man while you're tweeting F these ends. Y'all don't need them. Be an independent, strong woman. Be a boss, babe. Stack your money. You don't need no man. So who's that next to you? And how is this fair, sister? How is this fair? Why am I not allowed to have a man, but you are? Oh, because my world don't revolve around him. Don't tell me I don't need no man, but you got you one. That's not fair. I love you, but I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. You've never been single, so I'm not listening to you tell me I need to learn how to be single. Have you mastered that? Okay, I love you, but I'm not listening.
Triggered me? No, sweetie, you didn't trigger me. And I'm not flipping the script. Me saying that women are the ones leaving men and men are the ones crying about it, that's not flipping the script. That's just truth. And I know it's really hard to understand truth when it goes against your own opinion. It's really hard to understand that when women say that they've left men and then men's response to that isn't like, oh, let me be self-reflective and let me figure out why. Why are women leaving? I have to listen to all of these women saying that these men are treating them poorly. Like, am I doing that? Yeah, no. Instead of doing that, the first thing that they say is, I'm single and I'm at peace. No, you're avoidant dismissive. You're putting yourself in isolation so that you don't have to handle those feelings of, oh my gosh, someone left me. It's hurtful. I get it. And it takes a really strong person to look inside of themselves and to actually say, oh my gosh, what happened? How do I make myself better? How do I keep myself from having this happen again? A weak man is the one who turns around and says, I'm at peace in isolation. And I'm not saying all men who are single who say I'm at peace are in isolation and are weak. What I'm saying is using that as an excuse and then trying to turn the tables and say that women are the ones crying that they can't find a man. No, they're not crying they can't find a man like, oh my gosh, I'm alone and No. We're actually happier being single. There's been a study. Women are happier single than they are not single. Men are happier in marriage. So there's a whole study on that, psychology behind it. It's actually kind of cool. Women are on here saying, I can't find an acceptable man. That's what we're saying. We're saying we can't find men who have like just normal characteristics, that are trustworthy, that have integrity, that are humble, that are chivalrous, that are gentlemanly. We're saying we can't find those men. And if you want to sit there and say that that means it's because we've been triggered and that we're crying instead of actually recognizing that's an insult to men, that's the problem.
This man said, I had 2 wives, both cheated. Now they're held themselves accountable. And she said to him, okay, but have you held yourself accountable? You can't always blame the other person. Are you stupid? 2 wives. This man said 2 wives, both cheated. I'm trying to see if I can read that right. 2 wives, both cheated. Neither held themselves accountable. Okay, but have you held yourself accountable? You can't always blame the other person? What? What?
Yeah, so this is exactly why Hinge did that in the first place. And for those who are lucky enough to not be on the online dating marketplace, Hinge, the online dating app, made a new update where once you get to about 8 matches, you can no longer get any more matches if you're not responding to them. You're going to have to unmatch somebody if you want to continue like using the app basically and matching with people. Because she's saying, honestly, life hasn't felt the same since the 8-person limit that Hinge has added. And if you go check the comments, what she means by that is exactly what this girl says. Honestly, it's so annoying. I love looking at a long list of people calling me beautiful. Like, you do understand that's the whole reason that they put it in place. It's for narcissistic people who are using the app more as an ego boost to get called pretty and, you know, all of these different compliments instead of actually using it to go and meet people. That is why online dating in general is just the perception of options, because 90% of the people who are on that app do not actually want to get to know you, to go on a date. They are like the girls in the comment section of that video. They just want you to message them so they feel special, but they actually had no intent on replying to them. This is why it upsets them that they can only message 8 people at a time. Why do you, like, to me, 8 people is plenty. Like, if you're engaging and you're interested in 8 people, do you need more than that? In my opinion, I think it was a good thing that Hinge added that 8-person limit, because it prevents egomaniacs and narcissistic personalities like this from using the app just to get compliments from a bunch of strangers. But that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
Why am I single? Because I want to be. But recently, my coworker was talking about his girl and said that on her best day, she can't even lick the red bottoms off his ex's heels, and then proceeds to pull up pictures of his ex and then pictures of him and his ex to prove that, yeah, this was his girl at one point, and then proceeds to pull up his present girlfriend's Instagram to show me on her best day, she can't lick the red bottoms off his ex's heels. Stay single.
Valentine's Day being tomorrow, just remember that the money that a man has nothing to do with his ability to show up for you on the day of love. I was with this man for 6 years, okay? The first year that we were together, he had nothing at all. And I didn't expect him to do anything because I had zero self-worth at the time. I was like 19 years old, 20 years old. But he managed to pull it together. He did us a little dinner at home, and I was thoroughly impressed. That was the day that I think I fell in love with him, because I was like, this guy has nothing. Okay, he had nothing, and he managed to pull it off. However he got those groceries, baby, I have no idea, but he did it. And things didn't work out between us for many reasons, but I never doubted that man's love for me. And I think that's why today, like, my expectations are just so different. For dudes, like, I was thinking about how I never text first. I don't contact you first. Like, you need to contact me first. Anyways, I don't know where this is going, but if that man really cares about you and he really, really is about you, he's gonna make it happen.
It's going nowhere because you broke up with him. And essentially, this sounds like what's her name when she was like, oh, that's a good man, but he's not my man. Look, see, he sent me flowers.
ex told me that his birthday was on Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh, that's really exciting. Like, that's fun. Maybe a good sign that you're a loving person, right? And he was like, well, yeah, but also, like, it kind of sucks because every single time that I have a girlfriend, like, Valentine's Day, my birthday kind of becomes all about them, and I don't really end up getting to celebrate my birthday when I'm in a relationship. But, you know, like, it is what it is. And I was like, well, you could always celebrate the weekend before, the weekend after. And he kind of seemed like that wasn't a thought that had popped up.
I already hate the idea. Why should I have to move my birthday to celebrate you? Do you know just off rip how selfish you sound? This is what modern women do. Off rip. This is what they do. It's all, well, you know what? How about we do this? Oh, we can just move your birthday to a different day. God forbid that man try to do that to you. Y'all have a hissy fit if a man said, well, why don't we celebrate our anniversary a few days later? Because I have to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, well, I guess we can. You want to move it a whole week before or a whole week after so he can celebrate you. And there ain't nothing going on. Nothing. You can say, okay. I mean, you're supposed to be doing that anyway. Why don't you just celebrate him? Hey, here's your Valentine's Day. And here's your gift right here.
Was said before, but I'm like, whatever. So I kept that in mind. Fast forward like 8 or 9 months, we're still dating. Valentine's Day is coming up. I was so excited. I'm like, okay, I want to do Valentine's Day the weekend before your birthday, so that way we can have your birthday, like just your birthday, and we can do 2 separate celebrations. He's like, that's great, perfect. So the weekend before Valentine's Day, the whole week leading up to it, I mentioned multiple times I was excited to give him his gifts. I was excited to give him his presents, like excited for our little like early Valentine's Day, right? I went out of my way to make him like this little craft, like one of those break apart chocolate mold cake things with like a bunch of handmade chocolate covered strawberries and pretzels. And
that's a bare minimum. The way these men be treating y'all and giving y'all stuff, that's the bare minimum. You finally putting thought into a relationship.
Marshmallows inside, and I also got him like a card and a bunch of pictures, and I like put together a little collage, and I did like, I think I just got him like a couple of small other little gifts, right? Just to do like a mini Valentine's Day thing. I was excited. So I come down to his apartment and I have all this stuff for him, and he's like taking pictures of everything. He's like, you're the best girlfriend ever. I love you so much. This is awesome. Like, oh my gosh, yay, Valentine's Day. Like, this is so fun. He did not that entire weekend even say happy Valentine's Day to me.
And he shouldn't have. And he shouldn't have. It's all about him. It's his birthday. And he shouldn't have. What you thought was it was going to be all about you. No, it's all about him. How about you give me this Valentine's Day weekend for it to be all about me and see how it feels? Oh, it's not feeling too good, is it? It's not feeling too good, is it? That's what he was saying to you. My birthday ends up being all about the girl, but it is what it is. Well, why don't you just celebrate your birthday on some other day? What I'm trying to tell you, and apparently you didn't hear what I said, was every single day, every single year that I have a girlfriend, I always have to accommodate somebody else on my birthday. I don't like that. And then you went and said, okay, we're going to move it a whole nother week. Okay, fantastic, great. But then he ain't said nothing to you. Oh, he ain't saying nothing to me all week. Exactly. That's how them girls been treating him this whole entire time. And now we see what happened. You on TikTok talking about how you hate that.
He didn't give me a present. There was nothing. There was no even inkling that he was attempting to do anything in return for me. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe he's planning to do something next weekend, and I just don't know about it yet, right? And the next 2 weekends, we weren't going to be able to see each other. I'm pretty sure we were both going to be out of town. So it was like that weekend and then his birthday weekend, Valentine's Day, were going to be the only times we could see each other. So I thought, you know what, maybe he just wants to do something next weekend. Didn't think much of it. Next weekend comes, I come back down to his apartment. This time I have like the birthday card. I got him tickets to go to like the Long Beach Aquarium. And then I also made us a dinner reservation at this nice restaurant that had just opened up. I paid a $75 dinner rereservation fee. And the day that I got there, I was like, hey, I paid a fee for us to be able to have this reservation. So like, is this time okay for you? Is this day okay for you? Everything was good, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so excited. That's so nice of you. I'm really pumped for this to happen whatever the weekend. So I come down that weekend and I'm like, hey, on his actual birthday, he took off work. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do today? Like, do you want to go out to the beach? Like, it was a nice day. Do you want to go do whatever? Like, it's up to you. It's your day. And he's like, okay, well, we should like hang out a little bit and then we can go do lunch. We can go down to Crystal Cove, which is like probably like almost half an hour from where he lived. He's like, we can go down to Crystal Cove and do lunch. And I'm thinking, well, that's gonna be cutting it kind of close to do dinner, but like, okay, we'll make it work. We'll have time. I'm like, yeah, we should totally go down. So we go down to Crystal Cove. We do that. We hang out. He wants to So that takes time. And then we also like went ahead and got a late lunch, and I'm thinking this is kind of not going to be the best for dinner. So I asked him, do you want me to reschedule the dinner reservation? He's like, no, that's totally fine. We'll make it. So then he's like, oh, we should go up to the aquarium. So we go all the way up to Long Beach to this aquarium. Then he of course wants to again, and I'm like, we're not going to make the dinner reservation at this point. So I'm like, hey, I don't think we're going to make the reservation. Like, do you want me to try to switch it out for a later time, or do you just like not want to go anymore? And he's like, what sounds really good? Chinese food. I think I don't really want to have to go out and do anything. Like that kind of sounds like a drag. I think I just want to get Chinese food. Okay, glad of the plans that you agreed to.
Oh my, he's such a jerk. Man, this sounds a lot like what modern women do. Y'all remember Drizzle Drizzle? Whenever men were saying, man, you guys got us stuck out here. I will literally be making plans for it. Y'all remember that guy actually that took that young lady to Cheesecake Factory? Y'all remember that? And she got on TikTok and clowned him. Oh, you're gonna have to take me somewhere else because I don't like this plan. We need to go somewhere else. And all of the thousands of other girls talking about how a man had made a plan and they didn't like it. And they just wasted that time. You remember that? All of a sudden now that a man is taking that energy that y'all didn't given and balled it up and giving it back to you, it's a problem. Somebody in the comments said, I hate him. Somebody else in the comments said, you were his boyfriend. You were way nicer to him than I would have been. They never realized the amount of effort we put into things like this. Lil P says, why is he the princess here? I'm sorry, you didn't deserve that. I would have Venmo'd, requested him $75. I'm sorry you went through this, girl.
I planned for you are a drag, but fine. So we're driving back to his place, and like halfway through the drive, he's like, hey, do you want to go ahead and go? He tells me the name of the Chinese restaurant. He's like, can you just go ahead and order that for us? And I'm like, sure. Even though I'm missing out on my $75 deposit for the dinner, I will order us Chinese food as well. No problem. So I order the Chinese food. We get back, and he's like, yeah, it would have been like wouldn't have been like fun to go out. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to like chill and relax at home. Like, I had a long week at work. Like, I'm not really trying to go out and do anything. That's totally fine, but you should have told me that before.
No, and you should have understood that. I need a woman that's flexible. I need a woman. Wait a minute. I want a generous woman. If you're broke, then just say that. Then just say that. $75 is nothing. It's nothing. As a matter of fact, number one. Number two, if you really loved him and knew him, you would have been able to read the room and understand that he wouldn't have wanted to go out on that day. Man.
Right? So I was a little bit annoyed. And also, he did not even attempt to tell me Happy Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I know it's your birthday, but like, you had last weekend, you had this weekend, you're not doing anything. Like, come on. I'm not saying anything because I'm trying to be like, it's his birthday. I'm trying to be positive, even though like, it wasn't going that well, right? But I thought, you know what, whatever, like, it's fine. Maybe it's coming. So that night we get into bed and I'm wearing lingerie. I'm like doing the whole thing, trying to be like seductive. He literally is barely paying attention to me, just on his phone scrolling. So I'm sitting there and I'm a little bit annoyed because I'm like, well, today kind of sucked. And I feel bad because I'm like, it's his birthday and I told him I wanted to do whatever he wanted to do. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I kind of hoped he would at least tell me Happy Valentine's Day. Like, that was literally all I wanted, was just for him to say Happy Valentine's Day. Like, I wasn't asking for much. That honestly would have made up for everything else. And I would have been like, missing out on the reservation. Everything's fine. We did what you wanted to do. But he didn't even tell me Happy Valentine's Day. So he's sitting there scrolling on his phone. He's on Instagram. And eventually I'm just like laying there in my lingerie looking at him. As he's scrolling on his phone, 3 girls in a row pop up in their own lingerie. Okay, great. We have had so many conversations leading up to that point about how he needs to unfollow those type of accounts and how those accounts should not be on his phone. And he agreed multiple times that he was unfollowing all of those accounts. And that if he came across them, our thing was too, you don't have to like proactively unfollow all of them. If you miss a couple, that's fine. But as they pop up and you see that content pop up, unfollow it actively. And he agreed to that. He passively scrolled by all of them.
I mean, listen, you have to understand that you're the one that he wants. You are the one he wants. Just because he's looking at that doesn't mean that he wants that. Doesn't mean that he likes that. I mean, my God, you sound insecure right now. If you can't handle a man that is a baddie, then just say that. This man is out here he probably wasn't even looking. He was probably just there, just scrolling, and they just came up on his feed. And every so often, it's not a big deal, really, to be honest with you. I mean, you're still complaining about Valentine's Day. It's not about you. It's about him. Wow. You guys, selfish. What happened to all of these women that were willing to to spend, to nurture and to care for the man? What happened to them? Wow. Selfish much. Like, this is why men are walking away, because you can't read a room. You're not emotionally intelligent enough to know that he's just tired and he only wanted to scroll on his phone. You're not communicating effectively enough. You're not being emotionally vulnerable and telling him your real feelings on this. I know you said a couple of things, but it's not, it's like you're you're the problem. My mental gymnastics are not working at the point, but you're the problem.
I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I finally was like, you know what? Today sucked. Today sucked. And now you have that on your phone, and I'm sorry, but I need to leave. So I get up and I start packing my stuff up. He's like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm like, I need to go. That is so fucking frustrating. I'm mad. Like, this has been a terrible weekend. You didn't even tell me happy Valentine's Day. And I know it's your birthday, so I was trying not to be in my head about it, but you didn't do anything for me last weekend either. We're not going to see each other for the next 2 weeks. Like, I'm over this, and I need to leave because that was so up that you scrolled past those girls and their lingerie. I'm sitting here in my lingerie. You won't even look at me. Like, I'm so frustrated. I need to leave. Mind you, it was like really late at night. So I'm packing all my stuff up and I start crying. Then he's crying. He's like, oh my, this is the worst birthday ever. You're ruining my birthday. You're really going to leave on my birthday. I'm like, this is the worst Valentine's Day ever. So yeah, I'm going to.
Why are you worried about him pleasing you or y'all pleasing each other? It's his birthday. You need to be pleasing him. Period. Why are you acting like that right now? My God.
Leave. Like, I don't like this. I don't want to be here. We're both sitting there crying. I'm trying to pack my stuff up, but I can't see because I'm crying, sobbing. He's like, just come back to bed. Please, please. He comes over. He like gives me a hug and I'm like, I'm so mad at you. Like, I'm so frustrated. He's like, can we please just talk about it tomorrow? Like, I don't want you to leave. Like, can you please just stay? We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to, whatever. So fine. I'm like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. Like, I'm just so hurt and frustrated. And like, today just sucked. And he was like, this has been the worst birthday ever. Over the course of the last almost year that we stayed together after that, he would bring up multiple times about how I ruined his birthday and how it was the worst birthday ever and how I gave him the worst birthday ever, ruined his birthday, made him cry on his birthday. And I'd be like, you're not even taking into consideration you ruined my Valentine's Day.
And he shouldn't. It was his birthday. It was his birthday. And you did in fact ruin it. What a modern woman.
Like, come on, it goes both ways. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have probably threatened to leave and been like so upset about it, but at the same time, you were so all day, like, and then you tried to make my plans that you had already agreed to sound like they were going to be like such a drag and like the worst day of your life if you had to go out to this nice dinner that I paid for and planned for us. You made it seem like sitting at home and eating Chinese food in the dark while you was going to be such a better time than going out to dinner when you had already agreed to go and you knew that I paid for it and you knew that I did it in advance. And I showed up with all these presents and all this thoughtfulness and whatever, and you didn't even tell me happy Valentine's Day.
Blah, 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 blah. Somebody in the comments said the fact you bought stuff and treated him for both his B-Day and Valentine's Day, and he treated you like this, I could never. It's almost like I treated you for both your birthday and Valentine's Day. Oh, you really got a lot out of me. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. This the way that y'all be acting. The way he was acting, that's the way that y'all be acting. And men saying, where is this entitlement coming from? Where is this spoiled behavior coming from? This man told you from the outset, every single day or every single year that I'm with somebody, my birthday is all about them. I don't really get celebrated. And you take it upon yourself, which good for you to say, okay, well, let me see if I can do something for you. And you did that. And he probably shouldn't have been acting like that. For sure, he shouldn't have been acting like that. You did something for him on his birthday. You did something for him on his on Valentine's Day. Yeah, the least he could have said was, Happy Valentine's Day. That's the least he could have said. You had your little lingerie on. Y'all about to get down. That's the least he could have done. But I hope y'all, and I don't mean to say that he should have done this, but I hope y'all take this and understand that this is what modern women are doing to men. And y'all wonder why men be walking away. Y'all all in the comments. I'm deleting Hinge. I would be livid. And for the rest of his life, he will paint you as the villain. I'm sorry you had to deal with this. It's the worst. Should have broken up with him then and there. Girl, you did nothing wrong. Drop his name. What would you drop his name for? You don't know him. What are you about to do? Something wrong? Something illegal? Why would you call for that? Exactly. It's always modern women with bad behavior. Bad behavior. I'm telling you. Listen, like I said, I'm sorry that he did that to you. He shouldn't have done that. But I want this to be a lesson to you. And for all, actually, somebody said, what a diva. What a diva. Could that have been what men have been telling y'all this whole entire time? What a diva you're acting like. And that never stopped y'all. Y'all just powered through and said, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be acting like that. I'm going to continue acting like that. And y'all getting sassy and mending chains. Where's chivalry? It's dead. Oh, I don't like that from a man. Gross. But then in turn, when a man acts like that, then all of a sudden it's a problem. It's the worst thing in the world. And I just had a terrible time. Get your act together.